Good evening. You're watching Left, Right and Centre. I'm Nidhi Razdan. Tonight, the BJP's big show in Bhopal. Modi attacks the Congress for harping on inclusive growth, says the BJP has done much more for the poor. Is Modi trying to steal the Congress's pro-poor agenda and avoid being labelled only as a messiah for the middle class? That's a big political debate as the war of words over development heats up. Also tonight, a new twist to the Oscar row. The head of the jury that selected India's entry says India should be submitting 5 films instead of 1. But is that the solution, or is there an urgent need to make the selection process more transparent? But first tonight, news that's just breaking at this hour. Disquiet and anger within the government at the highest levels over claims made by former Army Chief General V.K. Singh that secret military funds were channeled through Kashmiri politicians for what he called stability projects, privately conceding there could be grave consequences for the credibility of India's peace initiatives in the valley. Top officials now say the priority is to probe whether the claims made against General Singh in an internal army report are in fact accurate. Barkha Dutt now joins us on the phone line from Frankfurt. She's travelling with the Prime Minister, who is en route to New York for the UN General Assembly. Barkha, what more are senior officials saying?
Well, Lizzie, I think what one is really picking up is how concerned, how angry and how worried people are in the government at the highest levels. People are actually conceding, officials are conceding to us that this could have consequences not just within the Kashmir Valley, but even in terms of the questions that could be raised at international fora, for example, by Pakistan, with that peace initiative in Kashmir getting potentially damaged by some of the allegations that have come up, especially about involving channeling funds through local politicians in the state. Now, what highly placed officials in the government are saying is this. They are saying if these allegations are true, especially about money being routed through politicians, then, to borrow a phrase from one of the officials, it is completely wrong, it is completely unacceptable. This official went on to say that the army has no business using politicians to channel funds for any kind of project. However, what is very significant is that in the government's assessment, the internal army inquiry report, Nidhi, and this was the one that was headed by General Bhatia, which has created this whole storm. In the government's assessment, this army inquiry report has not been able to prove that money was actually paid off. The government officials are saying that the army inquiry report is merely quoting other army officers making this claim. So what top officials are telling us is that although General V.K. Singh's statements have been extremely worrying, in fact, one official said that most of what he has said sounds absolutely wrong. They are saying the general cannot be taken at face value. They're now talking about a wider probe. This probe will look into not just General V.K. Singh's own statements in multiple interviews. It will also take the army inquiry forward, because government officials are saying that the army inquiry is not conclusive. So what we're looking at is a wider probe. When I asked officials whether this would be a CBI probe or a judicial probe, they refused to elaborate on the nature of the probe, but they did say it would be a wider probe. It could involve multiple agencies, and that if true, this is something that, to use an exact phrase that one high-level official used, this is something that could have enormous damage for the country's interests.
All right, a big story there that continues to develop. Barkha, thanks very much for joining us. Moving on, it was touted as the BJP's big show of unity, with Advani and Modi sharing a stage for the first time in Bhopal at a rally today. But instead, Advani openly snubbed Mr. Modi on stage, not even looking at the BJP's prime ministerial candidate when he bent down to touch his feet. Addressing lakhs of cheering crowds, though, a short while later, Mr. Modi was full of praise for his colleague Shivraj Chauhan, careful not to brag about Gujarat's achievements. He also tore into the Congress and interestingly spoke about the BJP's pro-poor agenda, accusing the Congress of just harping on inclusive growth since it had actually done nothing for the poor.
They came together, they held hands. Advani offered Narendra Modi a bouquet, but then didn't bless him. A sign that Advani has not buried his opposition to Modi's elevation. The Modi-Advani exchange added to the tense start to the BJP show of strength in Bhopal. The Shivraj Singh camp was worried that Modi would steal the show of 4 lakh odd supporters, and the issue would no longer be Shivraj Singh Chauhan. Restive crowds rooted for Narendra Modi. But by the time the rally ended, the BJP walked away with some relief. Leader after leader tried to differentiate between the face for Madhya Pradesh and the Lok Sabha elections.
शिवराज जी के नेतृत्व में मध्य प्रदेश की सरकार और श्री नरेंद्र मोदी के नेतृत्व में भारतीय जनता पार्टी की केंद्र में सरकार आप लोग बनाएंगे।
मध्य प्रदेश के मुख्यमंत्री शिवराज सिंह चौहान ही होंगे, किसी को शंका नहीं है इस बात में कि भारत के प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ही होंगे।
But Modi didn't forget his own role, positioning himself as the prime ministerial candidate, launching a potent attack on the Congress.
Using the Congress's slogan of inclusive growth, something Rahul Gandhi taunted the BJP with at his last rally, Modi turned it around to attack the Congress.
पहले कभी कांग्रेस के किसी नेता के मुंह से दिल्ली में बैठी किसी सरकार के द्वारा इंक्लूसिव ग्रोथ ये शब्द हमने कभी सुना नहीं। इन दिनों उनको उछल उछल करके इंक्लूसिव ग्रोथ ये शब्द प्रयोग करना पड़ रहा है। महात्मा गांधी जी के जीवन के अंतकाल में इच्छा थी इस देश में से कांग्रेस को बिखेर दिया जाए।
The Modi-Advani relationship continues to be tense. Modi's prime ministerial candidature is yet to get the unfettered endorsement of several central and state leaders. But the chief ministers of the BJP, it seems, are already working at a mutually beneficial political relationship. Narendra Modi can swing the votes for Shivraj Singh Chauhan in Madhya Pradesh, and Shivraj Singh Chauhan's third term can contribute to Modi's Delhi march. And that is why it seems that they are ignoring the Delhi divide and investing in each other's future. In Bhopal with Rizwan Khan and Siddharth, Rahul Srivastava for NDTV.
So is Narendra Modi trying to steal the Congress's pro-poor slogan? Joining us tonight on that, we have Devang Nanavati, national spokesperson of the BJP. We have from the Congress party, senior leader from Gujarat, Amiben Yagnik. Also joining us tonight from the Shiv Sena, Rahul Narvekar, close ally of the BJP. Amir Raza Hussain, former vice president of the BJP's Delhi unit, well-known theatre personality, and senior journalist Siddharth Bhatia. Let me ask Devang Nanavati first. Devang, is this an attempt by Mr. Modi to reinvent himself in a sense, to not just appear to be a messiah of the middle class, but to appear more inclusive, to reach out to the poor? Because it was interesting when he was speaking to NRIs also over the weekend, he said this election is not about any post, but it's to wipe the tears of the poor. Whereas in the past, you know, he's not really used this kind of pro-poor language per se. Is he making a greater attempt now to reach out?
Oh, that is not correct, Nidhi. I think that's being unfair to Mr. Modi for the simple reason that for some of us who have followed him on the political scene for the past 7 to 8 years, in Gujarat, he speaks to the audience that he is addressing. If he is speaking to an audience of industrialists, he will address the concerns of industrialists and the issues that the industrialists face. If he is addressing the farmers, he will address the issues that farmers are facing. If he is addressing a particular community or a particular class of people, he will naturally address them. If he is addressing a general rally, he will naturally speak about all issues concerning all the people, right from the poorest of the poor, including to the topmost industrialists. That is how Mr. Modi has been dealing with. Now, you may select, you means not particularly you, a person may select any particular piece of speech and say, oh, but he is only addressing this part, oh, now he is addressing this part. That's not correct. He is speaking to a target audience. Every politician, every person who is an orator, who he speaks to with his ethos, with his pathos, with a logos. And that is what Mr. Modi does. And that is how a public speech is delivered. So what's so new about his talking about wiping the tear of every poor? In Gujarat, he has brought in so many schemes for the poor people, including right from the Kanya Kelavani to the farmers, to everything that he has done. Now, you may agree, you may disagree. Amiben will shout with figures and say that this is not correct. Well, so be it. But the fact is that he's been doing it. Now, it's one part of a society.
Is this a bit of a reaction to Rahul Gandhi claiming last week that, you know, in a sense that the BJP is elitist?
No, it's not a reaction.
We are the pro-poor.
Look, at the end of the day, Nidhi, at the end of the day, let's not be naive. We are in a political battle. A political battle is fought on raising your issues. It is also fought on countering what the other side is saying. Now, it need not be done every time. But if a leader feels that the opposition leader has made some statement which needs to be countered, which is not correct, or which needs to be answered, or needs to be put in its proper perspective, the leader may so choose to do. Why are we becoming so politically naive and so, because Rahul Gandhi spoke of inclusive growth, now Mr. Modi is taunting him. Mr. Modi has been taunting Rahul Gandhi since a long time. So if he felt that there was a point to taunt him, this is a political battle. All is fair in political war, and political speeches are made like this.
Let me ask the Congress,
this great
though,
debate about? I don't understand the whole hula hop behind this speech.
Let me ask Ami-Ben Yagnik of the Congress then, that Mr. Modi is largely seen, at least in the media and the perceptions that are out there, as someone who connects with the Indian middle class, and the Congress is generally perceived to be a pro-poor party. But is that are you in danger of underestimating the appeal Mr. Modi may have beyond the urban centers of this country?
Well, Nidhi, there is one thing very consistent in Mr. Modi's speeches and rallies. Speeches addressing any industrial audience, or a school audience, or a college audience, or whatever, or these huge rallies where there are so many people, which amount to some thousands of people. If you see, there is a consistent practice of changing the agendas all the time, and that one point agenda is only bashing the Congress and allegations against the Congress. He has no agenda because he has been appeasing the industrialists. Forget about the middle class. That is what he says by making statements, but it is only appeasement of industrialists in Gujarat, and whatever schemes that have come to Gujarat are from the central government, and they have been going on for the last 15-20 years, whether it's Indira Awas Yojana or whether it's a Kanya Kelauni, everything is coming from the central government and the states are implementing it. It's another matter that he is putting the state's name on those schemes. So let us not go that he changes, let us understand that he changes his statement every time when there is a rally. Now this rally was in Madhya Pradesh, it was Shivraj Singh Chauhan's rally, and there was a celebration of Deen Dayal Upadhyay ji, their founder member of their party, and see what the letter of Mr. Advani says, that you have forgotten what the founders of the party did, and you are now, there are some people who are catering to their personal interest. That comes true when these rallies are there, because you have forgotten for what the occasion is, and you only do nothing but bashing the Congress all the time.